Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to interact with Windows via the command prompt. So let's get started. Alrighty, the first command we're gonna do is gonna be help. And what that does is it's gonna display pretty much all the commands that we can run here in the command prompt. So it's a good place to start if you don't know what to type in. Now, if you know what the command is, but you don't know what it does, you can type in help and then the command, and it will explain all of the functionalities that you have with that command. You can also do this by typing in the command and then a \?. Let's type in our first command here to get started. That's a dir. It's going to list the directories on this device. Now, what we can do first is we can make a directory. So I'm going to type in md to create a new directory. Let's name it new stuff. So I just hit enter and you can see nothing really happened. But if we hit dir again, you can see there's going to be a new directory called new stuff. There it is, right under music above OneDrive. Now let's say I don't want that directory anymore. I can remove the directory with the RD, and then I'll type in new stuff, hit enter, and then dir again. And you can see music and OneDrive, there's nothing in between it anymore. I'm currently in my user folder. What I want to do is I want to go to my documents folder. So here's how we'll do that with the CD documents. And now I'm inside of my documents folder. To go back to the folder above what you're in, you just type in change directory ... Now if I want to see my Windows device name that I'm currently on, you just type this in real quick and it'll tell you which one you're on. So I type mine in, brings up Quest, that's the name of my device, the name of my computer. So this is going to be the first one that I just type out and don't actually execute, and that is format. And what format does is it creates a file system, it formats a file system onto a partition. So that's how you would begin that process whenever you're managing partitions and drives. The format tool, when you do format partition, it does remove the information and the data on that partition currently. So just be careful with it. Let's say you specify the wrong drive, it's gonna go ahead and do it. So you'd have some trouble getting that data back. The way you would do it is you would type in the format command and then you would hit the lettered drive, right? So like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, whichever one. You'd type that in next, and then it will go ahead and format it and assign a file system to it and all of that. All right, gonna start a new one here. Gonna go ahead, get down into documents. And then here you will see I have saved a Word file to this folder. It's file1.docx. We are going to copy that file real quickly here with a simple copy. And that command is just copy. I'll put the file I want to copy and then the name that I want to create. So file1 and then new file1. Then I'll execute it. And you can see one file's copied. Now if I do dir, there it is. So same file, just different name, simple copy. Now you can also use xcopy. And that's like trees of directories that'll copy. I'm not gonna do that here. The better version of all of this is robocopy. It just gives you substantially more functionality with copy. As you can see when I type it in, I mean, it's gonna tell you so much of what it can do here. It's crazy. So really good functionality if you need to do that. Now I wanna go back to my user file, so I will cd ... Now let's go through shutdown here. So if I want to shut down in 60 seconds, I will list this out, /s for shutdown, time is the TT, and then I'll list the number of seconds that I want. You can see my system is telling me you're going to be signed out in a minute. I don't want to be signed out, so I will abort that with a /a, and boom, you can see bottom right corner, log off, cancel. This is another one I'm not going to execute, but it's just nice to see. This is DiskPart. Now, what DiskPart does is it creates partitions within Windows. So when we were talking earlier about format and how it formats a file system to a partition, well, the partition is created with DiskPart. DiskPart is full management of disk configuration, basically. It's not just creating, but you can remove them. You can do so many things with it. And if we wanted to get into that management system, we would type in DiskPart. But again, whenever you're, format, DiskPart, whatever, when you're messing around with your storage devices, just make sure that you are very carefully typing in that information, because you can lose a lot of data if you mess up. Next one we're going to do is WinVer, and that's going to show the Windows version that I have here. So next one I'm going to do here is GP result. This is going to show my group policy. Now, I am on a Windows Home system, so obviously I don't have like Active Directory. You can still set group policies for your local network, so you can view how to do that and what you can see here. If you just type in, obviously I typed in GP result, and it explains everything to you. Now, if I want to see the GP result on my own system to know what group policy I'm running, I just type in GP result /R. And so you can see here it's scanning it to show me what my group policy is. And then once that's done, we'll use the CLS clear screen to fully clear the screen. Now, let's say that we are in a professional environment where we are using Windows Pro, and we want to, there's been some changes to the group policy, so we want to make sure that everyone is updated. The ways to do that would be with a GP update /force to automatically force the changes in the group policy onto system. Now I'm going to type in ipconfig, and if you run this command, you'll be able to see all of your IP information, your subnet mask, all of that. I'm not going to go ahead and run it right now, but if you needed that information, you could type this in, get all of it quickly. Also, if you type in ipconfig/all, it will give you even deeper information about your IP, and it'll give you DNS and DHCP information as well, so it's very useful. All right, here is ping. So ping is good for testing, reachability and determining round trip time between network devices, and it uses the ICMP to kind of figure all of that out and give you that feedback. It's used a lot with troubleshooting, so for an example, I will ping Quad 9, and it will reply back to us with the full statistics of that ping. It will tell us how much loss percentage we had, what was the time that it took everything to get from one place to another, what is the time to live of this route. So that's all useful information for whenever you're troubleshooting, or to know, what's interacting with what. And now we'll do NS lookup here. What this is good for is to look up information from DNS servers, get the IP addresses of website names, or vice versa. It's very helpful if you need that kind of information. We'll do a silly one here. We'll just do NFL.com, and you can see how it lays it out. There's the net command, and this has different syntaxes. So the first one here is net view, and this would be used in a work environment to view the network resources. Usually, that's what it mostly would be used for. And then if you wanted to go ahead and use those network resources, like let's say map a drive, right? You'd use net use with the information of that drive, and then that will map the drive immediately to your system. So really good in a professional environment to know this type of stuff. And then the last one for net is net user, to be able to mess around with the users in your system and on the domain. This one is trace route, and it's good for determining the route a packet takes to where it's going. It's important if you're troubleshooting. Now we will do path ping. This is like a combination of ping and trace route. So I'll run it here. In the first phase, it runs a trace route, builds a map, and then on the second phase, it's gonna basically measure the round trip time and the packet loss at each hop. So it's giving you trace route and ping at the same time. And finally, we'll do one last one. That's SFC. And what that one will do is it will check your system files and make sure that there's nothing corrupted in them or wrong with them or nothing has changed. And if it does, it will attempt and usually succeed at repairing those. So very helpful when troubleshooting what might be a file system issue. Now, there are a ton more of these. It's just I wanted to go through these really important ones to just display how easy it is to interact with the command prompt.